Why is the theater experience so special, so unique? I think that that you have to confront the human being like face to face. So as an audience member, you have to confront the story as something that is flesh and blood in front of you. And being an audience member, I mean, I mean, it's kind of an old thing. I feel like I'm such an English teacher, but that fear and awe that you're supposed to feel when you go to play, it's such a real experience that I think especially nowadays where we are so dependent on even our relationships are sometimes so mediated by screens, right? I think the theater gives us an opportunity to really uh, confront ourselves, confront our emotions, and to feel accountability for ourselves as, both as creators, because you could look at the people that, consuming your work, you could look them in the eye. As opposed to, when you write a story and you keep it on the page, or you have a poem, the play is a moment where you get to, yeah, see the people that you imagined the whole time while you were writing, but they're real. They're, and you have to look them in the eye and be accountable to them. And the same goes for the audience. I think it's such a different relationship to words and to stories when you have to, again, see the look at the creators, the actors, the playwrights, look them in the eye, and have an experience in a collective, I mean, it's a literary experience, but a spectacle, or whatever we want to call it, but that you're in a room full of people and you are all seeing this together and going through those emotions in that way. It's really special. I mean, I think the music does that too, to a certain degree, but I feel that the theater experience is so much more premeditated, and controlled, but it's still there's still such an unknown of what the relationship's going to be by the end. So that's what makes it so magical. My name is Adriana Alba. I'm board president for Breath of Fire Latina Theater Ensemble. And if you would like to hear more about a unique theater, please listen to this conversation. Well, I've been in activist circles and creative circles in the Santa Ana area. My gosh, since for a long time. I mean, over 20 years. And so Sarah was always a person that was always we were always connected somehow. I was a part of the board for El Centro Cultural de Mexico at one point. And so Sarah came to one of our meetings and she had this beautiful proposal for us to help fund it, because at that time, Breath of Fire was not, um, uh, it did not have its nonprofit status at the time. So I first became acquainted to Breath of Fire through, you know, basically hearing her proposal to put together a play called The Mexican OC. And the Mexican OC was a compilation of untold stories of Orange County, through, Mexican American experiences and figures in our history, in our local history. And it was such a beautiful project. And she, again, that was when I saw this, the power of what theater could do. I mean, to be honest with you, when I'm growing up, I didn't grow up with theater proper. I'm from Santa Ana, and it wasn't a part of, I think I remember going to plays like once at Fullerton College, but it was like a school field trip. And so I always thought that, from that experience, I always had this feeling that the theater, even though there had been many opportunities, I had my family, like I said, in town, they had their own way of theater making, I guess you could call it. But when I saw Sarah and when I saw what the Mexican OC did and how it put together, people stories, community, and also it's such an activist stance to represent people who had never really had a voice in theater locally. And again, I used to really have this feeling that theater was something that fancy people did. That you'd go to, South Coast Repertory or the Laguna Beach Playhouse, and you saw people that dressed nice and had money. And again, but I think, again, I had heard of Teatro Campesino and the likes, but really seeing Sarah and the actors that she put together and the writers and the production eventually come together, it was really a powerful thing. And it's a different kind of activism. I have a background in political science, and um, I felt that, art is such a beautiful way to make change, without the, you know, politicking. I don't know, and it's so genuine, it's not hiding anything. And it really made me want to be a part of something that could continue that and creating access to storytelling, to documenting stories. I think everybody has a right to be an artist. I think that it's a human right. I think we all have that. I don't think it's anything special. And, making things, we all innately as human beings have that. And so giving ourselves permission to do that. And I guess being a part of Breath of Fire was an opportunity for me to give myself permission to do as well. Well, I think Breath of Fire is so unique because it brings together voices and creators that are maybe not trained formally, um, but opens up the space and provides tools and provides conversations that are really kind of the heart of a true creative community. So, although we have writers, I mean, at all levels, and we do have people who are, very highly trained and did MFAs and the likes. What's really powerful is when you begin to see the relationships across the, um, that are people who are, have day jobs, but they've been carrying around these stories in their hearts and have not had an opportunity to sit down and feel confident to not only write them down but to read them out loud and to be supported in a in a real feedback, that is I think the feedback that we get in the writing communities is really about building up the people that we are, working with. And so I think Breath of Fire Latina Theater Ensemble, it's the only Latina theater ensemble in Orange County, which that in and of itself is unique. But again, collapsing those relationships that are supposed to be in a writing space, and making it a place where, again, we believe that art is a human right, that being able to write down your story, to affirm who you are through your storytelling, and to explore other people's stories through storytelling, that it should not belong to any one person or any one group, and everyone should have the right to access that. So, more voices from the community must be heard, because what's the point of theater? The theater's gonna shrivel away. If we continue to build theater in its traditional form, where will their audiences be? Who will their audiences be? Who's going to be their patron? Who's going to be the patron of the future? So it's, inevitably, it's going to be, killing away its audiences, especially as the world is, especially in California of all places, becoming more and more diverse. So we need to reframe, um, and refocus on who the audience of the future is going to be. And it's all around us, it's people that are hungry for that experience. And I think the audience will be there once we see the representation beyond what's been delivered. Well, I think the reason to partake and to support and to, attend events by Breath of Fire Latina Theater Ensemble is because Once again, we are the only Latina theater ensemble available in Orange County, and we are small and we are mighty, but we need the support. We have amazing writers who, and but more importantly, I think we have amazing teaching artists that build up creative spaces and creative processes that are accessible to anyone, whether you are a novice, you're just getting started and you're, just getting, a handle of, your creative voice, or if you're a seasoned writer, you're going to have not only supportive group of colleagues and friends, but also I think uh, very much an interested ear that's going to build up your work. So once again, I think Breath of Fire Latina Theater is so unique because there's no one else like us, literally in all of Orange County. There are organizations like us in the LA area and in San Diego, but Orange County, of all places, I think needs us as we're becoming, a more metropolitan area. I think we could. I'm excited to grow. I'm excited to create more community, and I'm excited for people to see what we create. And a lot of it is launching new voices. And I think we will be this year, particular, in real life, is really building up production, not productions, but building up processes for those productions to happen. So we're an incubator. We're not a stage. We're an incubator. So we're a support group basically for Latina theater, right? Writers, playwrights, and poets. Organizations such as Breath of Fire offer free creative spaces. We do not turn anybody away. So that makes the support all the more important. So a donation to Breath of Fire provides a workshop for somebody. It provides pay for an artist because we don't like our art. Artists are often, asked to work for free or their work is undervalued, and we pride ourselves in making sure that all artists, all teaching artists are compensated, as well as when we put together productions, it will or put together readings, that we pay our actors as well. So you're supporting not only emerging voices, but you're also supporting just a continuation of access for not only audience, but creators as well. So I think, donating to Breath of Fire is money well spent if you believe in the power of creativity, but theater making in particular. I am Adriana Alba, board president for Breath of Fire Latina Theater Ensemble, and we would really appreciate all the support and donations. That if you'd like more information, you could go to our website, breathoffire.org.